Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. What's going on? It's Super Dave back at it again with the PA Political Revolution podcast. And we're trying to do what we always been doing, trying to give you good information, good political information, so you can make good decisions on, the people that's being elected, what's going on in the city. And today we have a special guest. Today we have a mayoral candidate today, Mr. Floyd Batiste. Can you go ahead and introduce yourself, sir?
Yes, first thing I want to say thank you, Dave, and to the listening audience. My name is Floyd Batiste, and I'm running for mayor of our beautiful city, Port Arthur, Texas. For the past 17 years, I serve our community as Chief Executive Officer of the Port Arthur Economic Development Corporation, where I gained firsthand knowledge about the Pacific's issues that affect our community, and I believe the ideas to help. I believe I have the ideas to help improve the service and the quality of life for the people in the city of Port Arthur, all the people in the city of Port Arthur. Again, I certainly appreciate having this opportunity to speak to you guys.
Oh, yes, sir. No problem. And we're always glad to have a person with your caliber over here speaking to us and giving us some information. So, regardless of how everything go off in the election, we just want to extend the invitation to invite you to continue to come speak over here. If you
Yes,
ever
sir.
have anything, even if you're mayor or not mayor, if you want to give your
Yes, sir.
opinion on something, however the city is going, we graciously love to have your opinion.
Thank you very much, and I'm going to certainly take that offer.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Now, go ahead and kind of tell us a little bit about your story. What made you want to run to go ahead and jump in this election and run for mayor?
Yeah, as I said, I tell a lot of people, I'm not a politician. I'm a public servant, and I've been a public servant for 42 years. Prior to coming to the city of Port Arthur, I worked 24 years with the Texas Workforce Commission, and which was a public service job, helping people uh, improve their quality of life through employment and training. You know, and after leaving the workforce, I came to work with for the city, and it was just an addition to what I've been doing, but just on a larger scale. Uh, uh, the reason for me jumping in this race, guy, I've been in the city for 17 years, working with the city, and um, every time I talk to people, my neighbors, my friends, the thing that I hear all the time is lack of leadership. Lack of leadership. We need some leadership, and I agree with that. I agree with that. I think that when you look at Port Arthur as a whole, I don't think there's many community in Southeast Texas uh, that have the opportunities that Port Arthur have, and we're not taking advantage of it. And the reason why we're not taking advantage of it is because of lack of leadership. You know, so I decided to put my name in the hat, see if the people I could use some of the skills that I've learned and try to move this community to another level. Dave, you've been through many elections in this city, and every election I hear the same thing: we're gonna move the city forward,
Right.
move the
Yeah.
city forward.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, that's like
And
a
the thing,
worn out phrase. Move the city forward. Move the
move
city
the city
forward.
forward. But it seems like we are just still. We're not moving forward. But we have all these opportunities, but we're not taking advantage of it.
And right, and I,
And,
and
and
I, and I kind of want to stop you right there. Could you please elaborate for myself and also the listening audience? What are some of those advantages so the citizens can be aware of what's going on that we're not actually tapping into, and that you could probably help us tap into?
well, let me begin by I'll go back when I first came back into the city in 2005. In 2005, if you recall, Dave, Motiva was doing their very first big expansion. to build the world, North America largest petrochemical, and they spent about $8 billion down here in Port Arthur, Texas.
Right.
And when they, in 2005, 2006, 2007, 2008, they completed the project, and when they left Port Arthur, it was in worse condition than it was. But $8 billion was dropped into this community. Wow. And we didn't see none of it, And now 15 years later, 2021, 2022, and we see on the books that we have about 54 billion, 5 times more than what Motiva originally put into this community. And we cannot miss this opportunity. We cannot miss this opportunity because the pendulum just swings so long, my friend.
Right.
And if we miss it this time, we have lost another generation. And you and I both hear every day what's going on with this generation.
Right.
So we have to save this generation, and not only this generation, but the unborn kid. Because, as I said earlier, the pendulum just swings so long. So we have to take advantage of all these opportunities that's here in front of us. The other issue is, Dave, when you sit down, you sit down.
Okay, hold on for a second. Okay, hold on for a second. Before we get to the other issue, I just want to go ahead and dissect this issue that you brought up. What exactly do we need to do now that we can capitalize on this opportunity that we missed on the other one? Is it like something with jobs or jobs, anything else? Can you kind of please explain that? Because I believe it's important, especially when you're running for mayor, to get your to get out there, the some of the issues that you want to go ahead and try to help rectify, and let the audience and the citizens actually know, some of the things that was going on out there, right? Because a lot of people don't know this. Some, including myself, I know we kind of missed it, but I kind of want to get a better sense of what we've actually missed from a person like yourself that's directly was dealing with the Economic Development Center.
Yes, sir. Let me try to make it as simple that everybody could understand. Dave, you're a married man?
Oh, yes, sir.
And what's the most important thing in your marriage? Relationship and trust, right?
Absolutely.
Okay. In the business world, the most important thing is relationship and trust. And we have not developed that with business and industry. We only go to industry when it's time for them to pay us tax abatement.
Right.
But we have no relationship with us. They have a little plantation, and we see them between 11 and 1 o'clock at the restaurant. If we go to one of the restaurants, after that, they're going back into their little plantation. And after their workout, they're getting on that highway and they're going home. We have no relationship with these people. And I'm going to tell you guys, I have worked with with industry and business for the last 20, 30 years. They want to be a part of this community. They want to be a part of this community. But as I said earlier, we have no relationship with them.
Right.
We have to develop that relationship. The other thing, from my perspective, from economic development, we always look at the plant managers. Well, the plant managers, like you and I, put on their coveralls and go to work every day, and they have 2 primary purposes. 2: safety and production.
Right.
That's what they are paid for, to make sure that plant is safe and they produce the byproduct. And they got a little box. They give them a couple of $100,000. So you give some crumbs to this guy and give a little crumb to that guy and keep everybody happy.
Right.
But decisions are not made here. Valero decisions are not made here. Valero's decisions made in San Antonio.
Okay, on decisions.
Decisions are not made here. It's made in Houston, Texas.
Okay,
Chevron.
On the decisions.
Yes, sir, go ahead.
On the I'm sorry, but sometimes we don't want to be stopping, in between, what you're saying, to kind of like to delve deeper in certain parts of it.
Yes, sir.
Like when you're making decisions, like decisions, for example, what type of decisions that they'll make that we'll think the plant manager make here that they'll make over in San Antonio or Houston or Saudi Arabia, whatever.
they make the decisions about the money, how they spend the money.
Okay.
And when we see the lack of resources in our community, and we have folks here with, man, look here, they got buildings with boxes of money.
Right.
They could help us a whole lot more. They could help us a whole lot more. And I think they're not reaching out to us, and we're not reaching out to them because we have no relationship with them.
Now when you say when you say that like you had said earlier, like the plant manager, they want to be with the community here, right? Wouldn't it be a way that if the plant manager would want to be a part of the community or whatever representative, right? And obviously there are some people in their home headquarters of San Antonio, Houston. Wouldn't there be like a communication issue with the plant manager here to be able to talk to their home base over in San Antonio, Houston, to kind of, to divvy up some money? The reason why I was saying, I know they have the home bases in, whatever respective city, but they're going to have some type of communication with somebody at the local plants, right? Because they've done they've done this before, right? If I'm not mistaken, I believe they used to have a Texaco parade in Port Arthur, right? So a long time.
Yeah.
Used to have a Texaco. So it's been done before. So I don't know if San Antonio is the people.
But if you look at it, back then, they had the cavalcade parade. And all. Industry was very involved in the community.
Yes.
You had industry people on a lot of boards in the city. You don't see that no more.
Right.
Because there's no relationship anymore. And that's why I keep going back to the word relationship, man. Relationship. We don't have that relationship with them anymore. And yes, they have become more international, but at the same time, man, their hub is right here. Hub is right here. And look here. Now, I am very grateful, to the refineries. They give the city, I don't know, but probably about $70-80 million a year, and we don't have to provide any services to them. But I think there's a lot more that they can do.
Yes,
financially.
Absolutely.
And they will give you $5,000 for this and $1,000 for this and a scholarship for this.
Right.
But we got to look at the whole.
Right.
And we, I keep saying the plant managers. I know these guys real well. They're good guys, but they limit in the decisions they have to make. They can make. Let me say it like this. They limit in the decisions they can make. Even when the council sit down with these people and start talking about in lieu of tax agreement, it's not the plant manager they're talking to.
Right.
They're talking to corporate headquarters, people who make decisions about money.
Right.
People who make decisions, and we need to develop that relationship with those folks also. We always want to have the plant manager on our side. We want them to be our advocate,
Yes.
And I think we're going to get a whole lot more. I tell you, when I'm going to go back to you and your wife, Dave.
Yes, sir.
When the trust is gone, the relationship is gone. Would you agree with that?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And
that
sometimes it's hard getting that trust back. Yes.
That is what have happened in the last 15, 20 years between us and industry. So we have to bridge that gap and begin sitting at the table, talking to each other about Port Arthur. Not talking about the plans or this or that, talking about Port Arthur. Sure, they say they're in the ETJ, but they are in Port Arthur.
Right. And in your opinion, what was the reason why that relationship had failed or diminished in the past?
Leadership.
Okay.
On the council level. Leadership on the council level.
Okay.
Leadership on the council level.
And and now from you being the CEO of the Economic Development Center, now you going to the mayor where it's a council manager form of government and it's not a strong mayor. How do you think you'll be able to go ahead and express and try to get your thoughts through and
Yes,
convince
sir.
the council that, hey, this is the way to go?
Well, let me begin by saying this. It is a city manager's form of government.
Right.
The city manager runs the city.
Yeah,
But
manager council. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
right. But the council set the vision. The council make the policy. The manager implement the vision. The manager implement the policies.
Right.
So what has happened in this town, there's no vision.
Right.
There's no vision. So we don't know where we're going.
Right.
We don't know where we're going. And I will tell you, I don't want to elaborate on it, but working with this current city manager, we did a downtown plan. We did a comprehensive plan for
Right.
the complete city of Port Arthur. And I guarantee you guys, I don't want to say it like it. Most of the current council have not even picked it up and read it.
Oh yes, absolutely. I mean, absolutely.
But and they should be governing from that plan.
Right.
Because that is the plan that they say they wanted to take the city to. And I hate to say it like this, Dave, but what it caused is it caused exactly what we're having right now: mismanagement of money, because you don't know what you're managing.
Yeah, absolutely. And also, I'm going to add to that, we have a failure of the city manager. Right. I was just listening through. I got to go do another podcast on the what is the streets program, whatever Flood is doing. Right. Flood was giving the presentation. I think it was the streets program. And briefly, I've heard they've blamed the previous council for some of the issues. Right. Now, it's the city manager's job, right, to go ahead and keep together, right? If you have a plan started in 2018 or whatever, 19, whatever
Right.
year that 19, right? I'm just saying 19. I think that's when he was city manager.
Mm-hmm.
Around 2019, you have an engineer that may have quit, been fired, or whatever. Public works director fired, whatever. You still supposed to translate that original streets program to the current people that you have in the office in a position, because you are the city manager.
That's correct.
And
You follow the direction of the board of directors, and the board of directors is the council. The council has set a plan, and this is what they want to do.
Right.
And my job is to implement that plan. Let me give you a little small deal, man.
Yes, sir.
We did the downtown plan. We cost us about $300,000 to do that deal too.
Right.
But I thought it was the best tool we ever had. And Dave, you've been here most of you. 15 years ago, you could have put a cannon on one end of Proctor and shoot it, and everything was going to fall, or nothing was going to fall, because it was nothing there.
Right.
It was nothing there. But that plan said, okay, man, you got to bring people down here. So what did we do? We said, how do we bring people here? There's nothing to bring them here to. Well, we looked at the local college, the local junior college, and EDC was very involved in the dormitories that's there, not the student housing. And we contribute $2 million because, for one reason, we was going to have 118 young people there every day.
Right.
Every day of the year. And the next thing we did, based upon that plan, we needed to bring people down here.
Yeah.
We set a targeted area to build homes today from 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th Street, from one side to about 19 blocks. We got 40 new homes built. Average appraised value of these homes now is $167,000. And they paying property tax now. New people coming in, okay?
Right.
New people living down there. The next thing we did, we went with GLO, and you see coming up another 118 apartments, townhome downtown on 4th Street. That's going to bring within the next 5 years, in that little 1.5 mile radius, you're gonna have living close to 1,500 families.
Right.
And what does that do? When you have that many people, working families, let me go back and say working families. When you have that many people coming, private sector come. Because private sector going to come where the money is.
Right.
And that was the plan. And then Motiva jumped in, and Motiva said, well, we're going to bring our administrative folks out. But I'm saying all this because that was all part of a plan. And we followed that plan to the T, man. Everything, I am telling you, go pick up that book that we did 9-10 years ago.
Yeah.
And it is part of that plan. And I think that is where the council has failed. They not following their plans.
Yeah. You're absolutely right. And I do want to jump onto that, right? And you're right. I think I do have that book. I think it's the 100-year centennial, something like that, of the city. I'd have to go look at it somewhere in the bookshelf over there. And you're right. Yeah. On one end, you have, what you were doing, the redevelopment of the downtown. And from my opinion, hopes for the casino. Right. The casino deal was supposed to be come over across the pier. That whole dream or whatnot. One instance, you had the downtown trying to be redeveloped, right? And then on the other end, you had the city pushing everything north of 73, and including, you're supposed to have the abatements that were supposed to go south of 73, but you had, for some reason, these crazy jokers on the council pushing everything north of 73, including like the deals with Hobby Lobby, right? You had, there was a big deal going on. You had the Hobby Lobby. They gave the this company BKD or something. I forgot the initials of their company. Some abatements to go where they want to go. Right. It is north of 73 is really hyper. It is hyper developed. Right around the Walmart area, you already know it's hyper developed. When we're supposed to have the tax abatements that's going to south of 73, so you have two conflicting plans. You have one that's going downtown with the downtown development, and then you have one that's continuing to hyper expand up north, right? The hyper develop up north. So it always was a question to me: why are you doing this when everybody's not in sync and going into? It doesn't really have to be downtown to me. It's south of 73. Because you need more things as a grab, as a pull to, if you want to do downtown, you have to keep the things downtown, like with the health department, right? That's one issue. You have to just keeping everything downtown, because already from that book, that 100 Centennial, whatever it's called, from that book, you have where the Hayes family, right? They already, 20 years ago, they already gave up of downtown being a retail business because they blamed that on the Stonegate area. So not only we have the development of Stonegate, we have the hyper development of 365 in that little shopping complex that's just past Stonegate. Now, in addition to that, they have potentially the Needland development over that's called the Landing. So that's going to push people outside the city. So it's worse now for the retail than it was back then 20 years ago. So the Hayes brothers has given up on that. Not, recently it has became, and it was supposed to be the Mardi Gras, supposed to be an entertainment district downtown, right? That was the new thing back then, the entertainment district. So that kind of fell through. They gave up on that, when Mardi Gras left. And now the downtown, this last phase, is the business district with a lot of business offices. Is that everything? Am I saying it correct, or
You are very much correct. Downtown is targeted to be a business district.
Right, right.
A
Business, yeah.
business district. There's three sections of it. There's a business district, there's a residential district, and then there's the university.
Right, right, right.
Those are the three anchors for the downtown. Uh, Entertainment will be on the on the other side of the water, on
Right, okay.
Pleasure.
Right, right, okay. Okay, so they're still trying
There,
to do
there,
something.
if you look at the plan, there is s- some development along the waterfront by the post office.
Okay, okay.
And we have talked to several people. The problem is we just don't have enough there. And I think in the future, I think within the next 5 to 10 years, if we could turn this thing around, you will have some development there.
Right, right. Now go ahead. Let me jump into the EDC for me. Right, when you was in the EDC, can you tell me a little bit about the development? Right, what was the biggest problem from developers trying to come over here? Right, from my instance, right, from my understanding, a lot of the times when they want to come developing something in downtown, a lot of the times that downtown is such a risky area, right, for a business, because this is the things that we've talking about, that it didn't have a lot of pull to bring people down here. Did it seem like a lot of businesses wanted the city of Port Arthur to take a majority stake in developing that business? So if something would have happened, they would have lost. It would have been a minimal loss to the investor and more been on the city of Port Arthur.
Well, let me respond to it this way. Business, they're in business for one reason: to make money.
Right.
That's the only reason people go in business. And when we tried to do a lot of things downtown that we couldn't, because first thing, you didn't have the land capacity. Most
Right,
business
yeah,
want
land lot.
10 acres of land. A lot of this business near residential. So that was one of the brightest thing in my mind that the EDC had done, was created the business park, and which was put it down there. There is a very a big effort right now, Dave, to purchase a lot of the vacant land in that part of town,
Mm-hmm.
so that we could be able to provide the space that business want. Business want to come there because of one reason: the port. The port
Okay,
of Port
right.
Arthur is going to be one, but they have no land. They
Right,
don't
yeah.
have the land. And I don't know if you know, but a lot of that land is in our great grandparents' names,
Right,
and it's
okay.
never been it's very difficult to try to get control of that property right now.
Right.
That is the biggest issue. You may have seen or heard the port is trying to, every time they try to they see a vacant lot, they try to grab it,
Right.
because the port's going to expand. It's going to get bigger and larger and bigger and bigger and bigger, because when you go to most ports, you're talking about maybe 3,000 acres of land. Well, our port has only got about 150 acres of land. And when you look at the port itself, if you ever gone to Galveston, across the waterway, get on the ferry, you go out there and you see 20 and 30 boats, ships rather,
Right,
sitting out there waiting to get into Houston, because they can't get in. They have to sit out there sometimes 7 to 14 days.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
And remember this, they pass right by us to get there.
Okay. Right, yeah.
But we don't have storage space for that stuff.
Oh, gotcha.
So what the port is trying to do is acquire as much land as possible, because there's more business that come to Port Arthur than, if you want to go to Houston, you got to go by Port Arthur.
Right.
And the other thing, talking about the port, and I'm talking from economic development side.
Oh, yeah,
The other,
absolutely.
You got the Suez Canal, you got the Panama Canal. Those things are open up now. And a long time, everything was going to Long Beach, California. The ship would go to Long Beach, California, they unload at Long Beach, put it on a train, and take it across the world. Well, now, since the Suez Canal and the Panama Canal, they come right where? To the Gulf of Mexico. Straight to the Gulf of Mexico with this ship.
Right.
And if you take the United States, Dave, and you split it in half, and Texas being that half, on the east side of that half, 2/3 of your population live. And only 1/3 of the people live on the west side
Right.
of that deal. So what the advantage, that was the reason for the Panama and the Suez Canal opening up, so they could get the product to the consumers quicker. Right. And what you're going to see is the train won't be running 200-300 miles anymore. It will be a 50-mile, 100-mile radius.
Right.
That's why you're beginning to see a bunch of warehouses coming up, storage space.
Right.
So they're bringing, even you go to Charleston, South Carolina, and everybody expanding their port so that boats could come in. That's why those boats from China and Taiwan could come right here, man.
Okay, so that makes more sense now, because that's why the downtown is going to be more of a business district area, because I'm assuming piggybacking off of the port, and you have the offices coming downtown, Motiva coming downtown, everything else. Okay, it makes sense now. So
that's what it's all about, man. That's what it's all about.
The port is the catalyst for that. And back when the entertainment district, it was probably like, well, the hopes for the casino and the Mardi Gras was kind of like a catalyst for that. Okay, I get it now. I get it. And the port is just okay, good. Okay.
And with the port expansion, with Motiva expansion, other amenities gonna come because Motiva plan to bring 500 people down there every day, and they're down there every day. Somebody want to buy an ice cream cone, man.
Right.
Somebody want to buy a popsicle, So the popsicle shop and all these other little shops gonna come up, and that's what the downtown gonna be 5-6 years from now, man.
Okay.
Yeah. But it's all in the plan, Dave. It's all in the plan.
Yeah.
It's all in the plan, man.
Yeah.
And I think that's the failure of the council. They have their own little plan.
Right.
It doesn't work like that, man. Not in the real world.
Right.
Not in the real world.
Right. Now taking your experience on council, on the EDC, right? Transitioning over to a council where there's it's a manager council form of government. How do you plan to convey your ideas to a difficult council when you, as the EDC director, just recently was having issues with getting your plan over to the council, right? How do all these great ideas that you have, and I do believe they're good, how do you convince or fight or try to get through your ideas to an ignorant council?
Let me say, how you get the ideas over to the council is this, through the people. Remember, we are government of the people, for the people.
Right.
And my philosophy is I'm very transparent. The people will know what's going on. You've been involved in this thing a long time, and a lot of decisions are being made behind closed door, and the people that come out and vote, they vote yes or no, and it's done, and nobody know what they voted on.
Right.
Well, because if the folks select me to be their mayor, I will be behind those closed doors, and I will come back and tell the people why I'm voting yes or why I'm voting no. They will know. If the opposing side wish to tell them their reason, fine. But the people will know what's going on in this city. And that is they need to know what's going on, man. They don't
Right.
know what's going on. The other concern I have, is the agenda.
Uh-huh.
There's too much stuff on that agenda in what they call it, non-consent or consent.
Right. Yeah. Consent agenda that probably
Yeah,
needs to go to non-consent. Yes, sir.
yeah. Consent means routine in nature, man.
Right.
That's,
Absolutely. Absolutely. Absolutely.
and I think a lot of that is being put not to let the people know what's going on.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I
I,
agree on that.
I'm very open, man. I'm very open. Some people say I'm too open,
Right.
but
Right.
uh, that's how. Now, if the people go along with the majority vote that's the opposite mine, then the people say it's okay. But they will know. Right now, they don't know. They voting and nobody knows what they voting on. The people don't know why
Right.
they vote.
Yeah. Yeah. I say some know, some don't know. They learning. They starting to know, but a lot of them don't really understand how we can kind of stop it. Right now, we've always had like a lot of people letting them know. Is there are there any extreme steps that you're willing to do to try to stop some of this?
No, what I want to get people involved, Dave. I want to,
Okay.
it doesn't take Floyd to change this thing. It take all of us to
Right.
change this
Right.
stuff.
Right.
And one of the things I have said to people I've talked to, I want to form a committee made of lay people, citizens from the community, of people from the business community, people from industry, people from education,
Mhm.
and we're going to talk about Port Arthur.
Right.
We're going to talk about Port Arthur because you got to remember, man, let's look at the world right now, man. It's changing. The world is changing.
Yeah.
The world is changing, and oil and gas not going to be the premium thing 15, 20 years from now.
Right.
So what
Right.
will happen to Port Arthur?
Mhm.
So we got to begin thinking, how are we going to transition to our new economy?
Right. Right.
And we got to have people that understand what's going on. We could none of us, we're all not gonna agree on the same thing. We don't all think alike,
Right.
but we could think together and come up with some common solutions or some common direction that we would like to take. But it has to be a whole. It cannot be one or two people, man. It got to be the people got to be involved. The people got to be involved. If the people can't buy into the vision, then it's going to be difficult to change this thing, Dave.
Yeah.
It's going to be very difficult, man.
Yeah.
It's much easier when you have people who buy into this thing.
Right. Right. And I understand that, and I believe that. I understand that. But as elected officials, there's certain tools that elected officials have that they can kind of use. Right. A lot of times I want to go ahead and use this as an example, right? And this is the reason why, I'm asking that question, right? We have a school board president, right?
Mm-hmm.
They've allowed to have, and the superintendent even wrote an approval letter to have a liquor store right next to the Thomas Jefferson Middle School, right there. I mean, to me, that shows the lack of respect, in my opinion, that the superintendent has for the kids, and the people of the city, really, the people of the school district. Now, you had the district president come on the news, right, and say, hey, we have to get the parents, the people involved. We have to get the parents. The parents can get things shut down. But to me, I believe that's a cop-out because they have a tool, right? If they wanted to, they can get the state to push 1,000-foot ordinance versus their 300-foot ordinance, right? To say that, hey, we putting it all on the parents or the citizens to try to stop the thing when they actually approved of it. They supported it and approved it. So
Right.
That's why I say, hey, a lot of the citizens elect us. Well, not elect us. I'm not a council member, but they elect council members and leaders to go ahead and fight for them, right? Where they may not know that they have that state law that the school district has to use to enforce that liquor store to try to kick them on out. They'll just play students and say, hey, it's on the citizens. Now, the reason why I say that for the city, in the mayor's spot, the mayor can call for an investigation. Now, if it's starting to get really out of hand in my opinion right now, how they're taking the money. They're basically doing anything they want to do right now. And a lot of things is crossing like legality lines with the, Open Meetings Act and some other things that, you know about over there in the EDC, how they're kind of strong arming the process and may not be going through the proper procedures on things. So in the mayor's chair, right, the mayor can call for an investigation of certain things. So that's why I was asking, are you willing to go to those extremes, since in being a leader, you have to make some of those strong calls, right? And I know sometimes it may be confrontation to people. A lot of people may not like confrontation, but the citizens elect those officials to, hey, we need you to kind of fight this fight in some areas we may not know,
Yes. And Dave, I tell you what, I would not have a problem taking on any issue that the people feel is important to them. I'll give you an example. In 2012, that we wanted to do certain things in this city that the law didn't allow us to do. And I went to the state legislature and had 3 new bills passed to change things. Because, we cannot do infrastructure, but our streets was real bad here. EDC cannot do city streets, but our streets were real bad. So we went to the legislature asking to change the law. The other thing we had is I couldn't train a Port Arthur resident unless I had him attached to a job. And my problem was, how can I attach him to a job if you don't have no skills?
No skills, no training, right.
So I went to the state legislature with that also. And the last one was, in the revitalization, we wanted to help fund the student dormitories to bring that population. Well, it was a fight all the way in both the House and the Senate. But all 3 bills passed, man. And I'm saying that because any issue that affects this city and the quality of life for people, I'm willing to challenge it, man, my friend.
Okay.
Yes, man.
Okay.
I don't have a problem with that. I don't have a problem. I don't have, and if I was mayor, I think the issue that's before the citizen right now, I would challenge that. Yes, sir.
Right, and also, this is my my biggest thing. What I like to see, right? I like to see fighters. That's why I kind of call this podcast the PA Political Revolution Podcast, because revolution, you just kind of have to go all out with them. Using guerrilla warfare tactics as being a small minority going against a big giant, right? So that's kind of why I call it that, and I kind of embrace that mentality. So I just want to ask you.
I'm a fighter, but I fight with knowledge, man. I got to have the people on my side. If I have the people on my side, it makes it a whole lot easier, man, when you have the people on your side.
Yeah, because
but one thing about politicians, they're afraid of the people.
Right.
Yeah. The people move them in and move them out.
Now, also, it's going to be conflicting propaganda. So sometimes, I'm just asking this because this is my personal, pet peeve on it. Now, sometimes it's going to be opposing propaganda. You're going to have propaganda. So you're going to have propaganda going against what you're going against, right? So just like with the EDC, personally, I believe on that point you were doing a good job in making sure the city is not wasting money on some of these bullcrap programs that these individuals try to bring over here. I believe you're being a good steward and keeping that EDC a type A EDC, because it has more restrictions on the money, and we need to make sure in this city we can hold on to the money. But you're going to have opposing propagandists that, hey, we can't get nothing done because it's in the Class A. We need to alleviate by putting that in the Class B. So a lot of times when you have two opposing views, right, your view, in my opinion, it may be the best one. And I believe it is the best one. But a lot of times the citizens don't have a lot of time to be in the politics, because we try to fight for the jobs that we barely can get out here, and we live in a state of poverty. So the poverty being a big issue, we go down to our lowest form and try to survive. That's usually our immediate answer. Survive is actually mean getting the job. So a lot of the time the citizens don't know what's going on, and they're getting like a lot of propaganda for and against. So sometimes you may have to step up when not all of the citizens may know that this is a good idea. Like for myself, I know everything that I'm saying is on point, and a lot and citizens don't really know how bad it is. It's really bad out here. It's horrible. I mean, it can get you crying a little bit if citizens actually understood how these council members are specifically lying to them in their face. Now, I never thought I'd ever see council specifically lie to you, right? You have a form, we have a form of government, whereas council manager form of government, but we have elected officials will lie to you and make it seem like it's a strong mayor, where the mayor controls the city, which they don't. I mean, they're doing this a lie. No. So, it's, that's just last time I asked. So it may call, you may need to fight where people don't know. Sir. So I'm just kind of, throwing it out there. You take it, however way you will. Would not.
I understand, Dave. I understand. I wanted to talk about some of the things that my platform, some of the things that I would like to see happening in this town.
Yes, sir.
For the safety of our people, I want to create a community-based operation partnership with our local police department against gang violence, gang infestation.
Okay.
I think we need to deal with that. I think the people need to be involved in that. Certain type of people, professional people, lay people. We have to deal with the gang infestation in this community. Right. The other thing I want to do, I want to establish a domestic violence unit within our police department, because I believe, that's my belief, that in order to end violence in our community, we must begin by ending it in our homes. And a lot of that is going on in this town, if you don't know.
Oh yeah.
And my aim is to take a deep dive into the policy changes needed for the police reform. That will center around accountability, the finance, the culture, and the community. I've been here 17 years, and I look at the police department budget, and sometimes I say, where's that money going?
Right.
I strongly believe in community-based policing. And, I know it may cost money in the long run, but I believe that each neighborhood needs to know that they're police officers.
Right.
And that police officer should know that neighborhood. I believe in community policing. The other thing I want to do is I like to clean up the neighborhood by removing some of these drug houses.
Okay.
There's too many drug houses in this town, and there's a lot of abandoned buildings. I like to clean that out too. I want to fight the slumlords who've taken advantage of the struggling families, and especially our elders.
Okay, specifically. Let me go ahead. He's right there. What are some ideas that you have on that on the slumlords? Because the reason why I'm asking, because the slumlord is a big problem over here in the city of Port Arthur. What's some of your ideas on that?
Well, it all starts from inside the city. You got a code enforcement.
Okay.
and you got to make them enforce the codes.
Okay. Gotcha.
You
Gotcha.
know, you got to hold these people accountable for doing their job. You know, a lot of that stuff, the slumlord wouldn't be slumlord if we be enforcing our codes.
Right.
You know, and there's a bunch of it over here, so we got to clean that up, my friends. Those are some of the things I see. The other thing I see, uh, I want to implement. I would like to implement a kid watch program to ensure that the safety of our children to and from school. We got to make sure our kids get to school safe and come home safe.
Right.
You
Kid
know,
watch. Okay.
uh, yes, sir, kid watch program. And I would like to also propose working with the school district that we open the schools after hours. The school days doesn't have to end at 3 o'clock. We should open the school library, the study hall, the computer lab, so that our kids will have a place to go after school. Not only our kids, but the seniors also.
Okay.
I would like our schools to become a community center for everybody. You know what I mean? There's a lot of resources in those things. And I believe in the quality of life of Port Arthur must match the quality of service
Right.
of our citizens. We have to look at the service that we provide to our people and make sure that I'm very customer service driven. That we are providing the best customer service, the best service that we can provide. With the amount of money, Dave, that this community receive, we should have A+ services.
Oh yeah.
You know,
Absolutely. Absolutely. I believe.
earlier we talked about industry giving us 70 million, that we estimate 70 million. You have the school district. If you look at their budget and you look at the city of Port Arthur budget and you look at the Port of Port Arthur budget and the drainage district budget and the navigation budget, all these tax dollars that the taxpayers are paying, when you add all this thing up all together, you're talking close to $1 billion, man.
Right. Yeah.
You know, and we don't see that coming back into our community. We don't see 10% of it coming back into our community. When we talk about $1 billion, 10% of it, it's just 100 million.
Yeah.
So we should be getting A++ services. And as mayor, my job is to make sure that the manager and his staff is providing that level of service that the people are very comfortable with.
Right.
The, the other thing I had on my platform there was quality of life also mean quality jobs.
Hmm.
And I want to create a climate that encourages business, industry, and entrepreneurs to follow their intuition and to invest in Port Arthur. With working with EDC, we were very successful. We created what we call a first source of referral. We didn't say, look here, guy, you have to hire them. We just want you to give them the first opportunity to be interviewed. And if they meet your criteria, then why not hire them? And we were very successful in that because, business, all they're looking for is someone who could help them make money. And if we could put a Port Arthur resident in front of business first, and they could help that businessman make money, then they got a job. But I want to focus on putting Port Arthur folks to work. As you know, EDC was very instrumental with the partnership with Lamar State College Port Arthur in building the industrial training center. We got a training center that will train you in any craft that you want to be trained in for the industrial world. If you want to work in the industrial world, 100 of the Port Arthur residents will be there for free. And the good thing about this training center is not going to be trained by academias. It's going to be trained by craft people, industry, going to be trained unique people, and they're going to be training you for the jobs that they have available. So those are some of the things that I want to focus on as mayor. It's just an extension of what I've been doing at EDC. It's just I believe in trying to give people the best quality of life that we could give them. I recall my days. I told you earlier, I'm a social worker by trade. When I first came into TWC, it was going through a transition. In fact, back then, the young Bush, Governor Bush, the president, the young President Bush,
W, right?
George. You're right.
W.
He was the governor of the state of Texas,
Mm-hmm.
and I was on a commission that we consolidated 7 different agencies, state agency, into one. And we became the administrative entity of all of them. We took a food stamp program, and we took what back then they called it AFDC. I think they call it something else now. We had a veteran program. We had an ex-offender program. We had a child care program, and 2 other programs. And we consolidated all into one. And my job was operation manager. And you could remember back in the days, back then, Dave, they used to call that place the unemployment office.
Yeah.
So my job was to change that to the employment office.
I was right. Workforce, yeah.
Yeah. So, and how we did that is by building that relationship, building that trust with business and industry, to tell them that we're going to help you find good workers. And those good workers was who? Those welfare recipients, the food stamp recipient, the veteran program, the ex-offender, all those, because that's how we got our money. And we took people that was dependent upon a system and gave them a better quality of life. And some of those people are doing real well today. A lot of them are doing real well, and that's what my mindset is, man. I'm a social worker, and I want to make life better, do the best I can to help those who want help. Not everybody want help, Dave.
Yeah.
I'm just straightforward, man.
Yes,
Not
sir.
everybody want help. Not everybody want help, And we can't spend our time, a lot of time, because there's too many people that need help.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I'm a direct believer in who wants help get it.
I want to be straight with the folks. I'm going to help those who want help.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. And
that's where I'm at, man.
Yeah. And I want to go back a couple of things. Right, a lot of my ideas sound great, and everything is real good about it, right? Now I just want to go back, like on the council, right? You said that you make sure that your job would be to make sure that the city manager go ahead and implement the direction that you try to give it to them, right? Say for instance, right? I'm gonna use like Mr. Harold Doucette as an example for this. There have been situations where Mr. Harold Doucette has given the city manager a directive, like for instance with the garbage trucks. Hey, city manager, so this problem won't happen again. We need you to go ahead and come up with a plan so we won't have the issues with the breakdown of the garbage trucks, right? And, that's one issue. Another issue, hey, city manager, we need to go ahead and get these streets done. We need to fix the streets, So it's been a couple of situations where Mr. Doucette, namely one, well, really the whole council, well, most of the council, but specifically Harold Doucette has given the objective on fixing streets. Really, all of them gave him the one on fixing streets. Then Mr. Doucette has also given him a directive for as like with the garbage trucks, right? What would be your answer to if you've given the city manager some directives on a couple of things, but the city manager fails to do it?
Well, let me say this, Dave. The rumors out there right now that you get Floyd in there, you're going to fire law. And I've been with TWC. I've dismissed a lot of people. I hold people accountable. And and a lot of other folks know that this current city manager and I are real good friends.
Right.
But in my line of business as management, friendship and management is 2 different things, man.
Okay.
I have to hold people accountable. And the manager gonna have to hold his people accountable.
Right.
Yeah, because you're gonna be evaluated based upon the results that he produced. Council set a vision, council give you policy and direction, and they expect you to go get it done.
Okay.
If you cannot get it done, then you need to let council know you cannot get it done, and the reason why.
Right. Okay. So
if you don't say that, and I'm not just saying for the man.
Right, yes,
I
yes.
hope the manager take this and tell his staff this.
Right. So let me get this straight as far as what you're willing to do, right? Let me make sure I understood it right. If you've constantly been giving the city manager objectives to do and he's been failing to do it, so let me so you're willing to put his job up for question on the council, right? You're willing to put his job
sir.
up for okay.
No doubt in my mind.
Okay, cool. Okay.
No doubt in my mind.
Okay. That's great. Okay.
No doubt in my mind. And you know, and you know that Mr. Burton and I are pretty good friends. And I said it to him. I said, man, if I make it there, you got to do your job.
Right.
You got to do your job.
Right.
That's just the way I'm made, man.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
You know, because I work hard, Dave. I work hard.
Yeah, I believe you. I believe you.
You know, I'm from the old school, man.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing that I want to say too, you know, we have to find a way to get the people, the young people. When I say young, I'm not saying the 20 to 25. I'm looking at 30 to 40.
Yeah. Right.
That's what I'm looking at, man. Because you see, I have some issues with people that young trying to make decisions, life decisions for people.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Yeah.
But I would like to get more people, 30 to 45 more involved in city government.
Right,
Meaning,
yeah.
on these commissions and boards, let them begin to start experiencing this stuff because they are our future leaders.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yes, sir. You're right.
They are our future leaders, man. And if selected as mayor of this city, you're going to see me appoint those type of people to some very important boards.
Right, yes, sir.
Because I'm computer lit.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Because I had a secretary most of my life.
Yes.
But I tell you what, those young people, man, they could do all this stuff.
Yeah, you're right.
And they could just tell you how to do it over the phone. So they smart. They're smart.
Mm-hmm.
And we got to use that talent that we have.
Right.
We got to use the talent that we have, not only so that we can give them the opportunity to be mentored and learn, because they are the one who's going to be taking care of me in a few more years.
Yes, right.
And making decisions about me in a few more years.
Right, absolutely.
So I just wanted to throw that out, man. I'm very big on young people, man.
Yeah, yes, sir.
And I define young.
Mm-hmm.
I define young. I have issues, with people 18, 19 years old making decisions for people 15 and 16.
Yeah.
They don't have enough life experience.
Yeah,
man.
they don't. Yeah, they need to be a little bit more groomed. They need to be going through the process. Absolutely, I believe that.
And nothing against him. Nothing. That's just me.
No, it's absolutely nothing against them. Like the example I use, right? The example I use, we have at one time 3 of the youngest. No, 2 of the youngest school board members on the school board, right? One being Batiste, when he came on, I think he was the youngest, and now we have a Taylor Getwood. He's been the youngest in the state, and I was like, yeah. The thing is, right? If you need to discipline or correct Portery, right, the school superintendent, it would be hard doing that when you used to look at him as a boss, right, as a supervisor, and then now you're going into a position where you have to make decisions. He's a subordinate, as he's like the employee. You're the boss. You know what I mean? So that was always a big. I couldn't understand that kind of conflict when you have a younger person. You graduated with Portery as a superintendent, but now you want to go in a position of leadership over him, and you don't really have their life experience to understand what it takes to be a leader.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So that's just my little 2 cents on that.
Yeah, my deal is I want to promote and move these young people in a position where they could take over.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, it's time for us to walk. It's time for, my time is just about over, my friend.
Right. Right. And then,
A-
yeah.
And then somebody younger than me gonna uh, give me the quality of life that I want, and I want to make sure they understand what I want and know how to give it to me.
Right.
You know?
Absolutely. And I think, I mean, it was a great, informative interview.
Yes,
It
sir.
was a great informative interview. It was one of the better ones I've had, and also I think I've gotten all of my questions out that I want to answer about your platform. And man, you can go ahead and have the last word, brother. Go ahead and speak what you wanted to speak, what you haven't said earlier.
Well, the thing I would like to say to the listeners, man, is I am a visionary. You know, and some people are gonna question it, but I will be a mayor who will convince the people that they are important to the life and the success of this city, and Port Arthur is important to them. That's why today I have offered my candidacy for the mayor of the city of Port Arthur, and I believe I have the lifetime experience that will count, and experience that will put to work, that I'm ready to put to work for each and every one of us. You know, Dave, the thing I want to say is not about me; it's about us right now. I think we have an opportune time to. I hate to say it like this, but I think we could be a little Atlanta.
Oh
I
yeah,
think
definitely.
Man, they got smart people in this town.
Yeah.
And we got to use all of us to make it better. It's going to take us all. I've told them that this election is not about Floyd. It's about Port Arthur. It's about Port Arthur. I'm just asking you guys to be the leader at this time.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you very much, Dave.
Oh yes, sir, and I do appreciate it. And until the next time, everybody, subscribe, share this video, and until we come back at it again, everybody take it easy. Peace.
Thank you.